Welcome, dear viewer. Let us begin observing the West. As the 4th of July is getting closer, two parts of the English-speaking Western world are getting ready for important events. In the USA, they're going to be celebrating their Independence Day. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pond, in the country known as the United Kingdom of Great Britain, they're going to be holding parliamentary elections, or as they call them, general elections. These particular elections were kicked off in the most spectacular fashion possible, with the current non-elected Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announcing them in one of the most impressive negative publicity stunts against his own party that I've ever seen.
Prime Minister shows that we have a plan and are prepared to take bold action necessary for our country to flourish. Now, I've stuck with that plan and always been honest with you about what is needed, even when that's been difficult.
After that, things seem to be going from bad to worse for the current ruling party, the Conservatives, also known as the Tories. Even though their opponents, the Labour Party, are also not very popular, their position seemed favourable compared to the Tories. Everything seemed to be on track for a Labour landslide. Then, literally out of nowhere, Mr. Brexit himself, Nigel Farage, made a dramatic comeback into the UK politics, becoming a candidate for the Reform UK Party. Needless to say, this definitely threw a bit of spice into this tasteless goo of an election race. I personally have been following Nigel for quite a while. Since before the Brexit days, he usually seemed to be the brightest star amongst that cacophony of wet blanket sounds that the UK politics became post-Tony Blair. However, over the years I began having doubts about Nigel's real role in the UK political theatre, and this is why. While his speeches always seem to adhere to the talking points of true, straight-thinking British patriots, his actions never seem to go beyond grandiose performances and rhetoric on the opposition sidelines. In short, he never once tried to govern himself in order to try and fix the problems that his country is facing. His modus operandi seems to be get the ball rolling, then pass it on to someone else, and back out. Because of that, he had to campaign for Brexit twice, and by the looks of it, he's going to have to go in for a third round. This, by all accounts, is odd. After all, he's a smart man who knows British politics well. After the first betrayal of Brexit by the Conservative Party, it should have been clear to him that he needs to take the wheel himself. As it stands, though, the victory for Brexit turned out to be a victory in name only because the Conservatives have completely subverted everything that it stood for. Case in point, in the past 2 years, they managed to import more migrants into the country than in the previous 10 centuries. So, why did all Nigel quit politics? Is he honestly that naive to still believe the British political class can be trusted? Or is he a pressure valve that the political class use whenever they feel that the tensions in the country are rising far too close to boiling point? For the sake of the native British people, I hope he's not, but if he is in fact that second option, that means that what we are in for is another several years of him simply criticizing the Labour government before once again vanishing off the stage and leaving the fate of his country in the hands of some of the most unscrupulous characters the world has ever known.